up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm here in Asheville, North Carolina for a media drive event of a vehicle that might surprise you. It's this vehicle right here. This is it. This is the all-new 2024 Chevrolet Trax. This particular one is the top active trim. But before we get into this total redesign of a smaller size crossover SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. Chevrolet, started by Louis Chevrolet all the way in the early 1900s. Boy, oh boy, has the car industry changed since Chevrolet became part of General Motors. Now, of course, there's a lot of talk about electrification and movement towards electrification, but Chevrolet still knows that SUVs of all sizes and shapes are still where people are spending their money. Now, one vehicle that really hasn't been around that long is the Chevrolet Trax. And I think for a while, people have overlooked it for many different reasons, whether it be the style, whether it be what you were getting for your money. Well, guess what? Chevrolet wants to change all that with this new Trax. So what I want to find out is, if you're looking for a smaller crossover SUV, do you go Trax or should you go with one of the other brands? Let's go ahead. Let's dive into this all-new Chevy Trax and find out. Right off the bat, the size. You're going to definitely notice from the first generation to now, it's grown in size. A little bit of length, a little bit of width. Now, at the front end of the business, you're going to see a look that's fresh to the Trax, but it also kind of blends in with the other SUVs that Chevrolet sells. Up top, you're going to have that new DRL, that daytime running lamp, nicely lit up for you. You're going to have that projector beam LED headlight, and you do have your turn signals mounted down below. I do like the way it takes a familiar face from the Chevy Blazer, from the Chevy Trailblazer, and brings it into the Trax. Just a little bit of gloss black, and you know what? Even though this isn't functional, I'm not going to zonk it just because they did a really great job style-wise. You can see how they took the front corner and extended it out and then almost boomeranged it back in, but then had it drop down. Now, on the active trim, which is the top trim, you're going to get some of this black chrome finish. So instead of just being a sea of gloss black, we have some black chrome. And then as we come across the front grille area, this is another area where they take from that design style of the Blazer and the Trailblazer. So you got that blacked out bow tie, a little bit of gloss black, a little bit of that black chrome finish, fully functional in the middle and on the bottom. And really, like I said, almost looks like you're getting more crossover SUV with the Trax name on it, because you can see that extra width and that extra depth of style that they're bringing. Now, when you get up onto the hood, body style, very clean. If you're wondering, well, Joe, this color looks like gold. What's it called? It's actually called nitro yellow. We first brought you this color on the Chevrolet Colorado, all new color for this model year, and definitely fits the sportiness of the Active. But like I said, you just have a little bit of a peak in the center, and then you have those indentations on each side. Very, very clean, but definitely has a little bit of a nice sporty look. I think that's the key to the style of this, is that it really looks sporty. Now, as you come around the bend, what are we working with? Wheel and tire setup. So you're going to notice that we have the optional 18-inch wheels, painted gloss black, simple, clean, and definitely fits the personality of this Active. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of the tire that goes around the 18-inch wheel? 225 on the width, 55 series sidewall. All Chevrolet Traxes are front-wheel drive. So if you were like me at the beginning when they unveiled the new Trax, and remember, we were first to bring it to you at the end of last year, and you're scratching your head saying, well, Joe, this looks just like a Trailblazer, about the same size. You're right, but there's some differences. One of the big differences, this is only available front-wheel drive, whereas the Trailblazer is available all-wheel drive. Now, you do have some flat black around the fender opening. Let me know how you feel about that. I think that they did a good job not making it too high, and once you hear the price point, I think you'll understand more just what Chevrolet is trying to get done with this vehicle. Now, as we come down the side, clean style, you're going to have gloss black on your mirror caps. for the Activ trim. I like the way they just went flat black everywhere else around the window openings. Some flat black, but I also am digging this body indentation that they did on the bottom of the two doors right above that flat black area. Really gives it some substance to the side of the vehicle. Color matched on the door handles, like I said. And then another area is, watch this, right where the door handle kind of ends, another body line that just sweeps all the way into the actual rear quarter window. So some brands are doing this like gloss black area. You got glass all the way around. We do have our roof rails, and look at how they painted them like a gunmetal metallic gray. And Steven is showing off that standard size sunroof that you also get when you go Activ trim. Now coming towards the rear, one of the Zonks, that guy right there, I wish it just had a shark fin antenna. I think we've kind of talked about that before in other models, but definitely gonna zonk that. At the rear, just as good looking, I think, as the front. They kept the taillight simple, and no, they didn't do LEDs. Let me know how you feel about that. Wait until you hear price though. That's all I gotta say. We're trying to compare oranges to oranges. I'm not trying to compare an avocado to a banana. That's not what I'm trying to do here. Now, I do like the way they did this little design to match what was going on at the front of the vehicle. And then as we come to the rear glass, you got that blacked out bow tie. Love the way it's got this nice angle to the whole rear area. Nice long low roof spoiler. And then as we go all the way down, you got your simple Activ badge, of course the Trax badge, and then we finish it off with some black chrome along the bottom. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering this new Trax. All right guys, we got the hood popped open. You do have a prop rod. Good news is it's all the way over to the passenger side. Now underneath the hood, Chevrolet kept it simple for the new model year for this 2024 Trax. One engine, one transmission, and that's it. It's a 1.2 liter turbocharged inline 3. So it's a 3-cylinder turbocharged engine pumping out 137 horsepower, 162 pound-feet of torque. It is, though, made it to a 6-speed automatic. So that's the big news for me, is that there's no CVT. 0 to 60, yes, somebody on a skateboard is going to out-accelerate you, but 0 to 60, 9 seconds. The vehicle weighs 4,145 pounds. Where you're going to really win is MPGs. 28 in the city, 32 on the highway. And the vehicle at the front has 7.3 inches of ground clearance. Now, the other good news is that you're going to have about 5 different trims to choose from, starting with LS and then working your way up all the way to this Activ trim. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire this up and see it in motion. All right, guys, we're inside this 2024 Chevrolet Trax Activ trim. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I've been needing something that's a little smaller for a daily driver commute car, but I don't want something just boring and bland. Style-wise, I'm a big Chevy guy. One of the reasons why I need a daily driver is because my other car is a C8 Z06. How much is it, Joe? Because that's going to be a big factor. Well, guess what? The biggest surprise with this Chevrolet Trax has got to be the pricing on the top trim, not the base, not the mid trim, not the second to bottom, second to top Activ trim, MSRP right around $25,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. I like the way they did the two-tone. Now the zonk is that's hard plastic up top, so not my favorite, but the center section with that gray and the neon yellow stitching looks very tasteful. You do have some metallic gray finish with a nice texturized style to it right near the switchgear. The armrest is another zonk. It's basically a hard piece of rubber, not a place where you want to keep your arm, but it is going to be easy to keep clean, especially if you got kids that like to pick their nose and wipe it everywhere. Now, door pocket is a great size. Easily fit a North Carolina Big Mac and a large Pepsi. And then, of course, you could get a small fry in there as well. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, love the way they did the AC vents. especially with this bronze copper finish all the way around. There's that metallic gray with the texture design, even the way they did the top of the dash. It's not soft material, but it looks good and it feels higher level than something that would just be regular black plastic. So definitely liking what they did there. You come on in, what are you gonna get? Full 11.3-inch infotainment system, full color display, control your AC. Now, if you don't want to touch the screen because you have a phobia against screens, you could also use the actual controls, the physical knobs and switches. We could go into our different gauges, MPGs, look at this, battery, coolant, the whole 9 yards. And then of course you come right back to home, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, go into reverse, look at the backup camera. It's so freaking clear, I could count every leaf on that tree. And I actually did, there's over 2.10 billion, which would basically be 2.1 billion leaves on that tree, and we got trajectory. So very, very nice that they did that. Working our way down, love the silver, love the metallic gray finish. You have your standard AC controls with a digital readout. You also have 3 stages of heated seats, which is a nice touch. That's for your overall blower fan, and it gives you a digital readout as well. There's full blast. There's just a little. Down below, we have wireless charging. And then you'll notice that this is going to be the thing that you use. This is the shifter to control the 6-speed automatic. Nice shift boot, little bit of silver trim. 2 cup holders. I'm going to lower that just a little bit so it doesn't make a bunch of noise. Your standard Chevrolet key fob gets the job done. You do have remote start. You got a nice place where you could easily keep, I would say, 2 to 3 Hostess cupcakes. Just have them right there, ready to grab and go. Hard rubber on the armrest, so not my favorite. But like I said, if you got kids that like to pick the earwax out of their ears and then wipe it somewhere, it's easy to keep clean. Lift it up. You got enough room in there, not for 1, but 2 Magic 8 balls. And I'm telling you, if you don't have a Magic 8 ball, it's one of the best ways to get an answer to life's questions. So if you're thinking about quitting your job, ask a Magic 8 ball. And then do exactly what it says. I didn't tell you that. Seats, love the soft material, that neon yellow stitching, the embroidery with the active name, the piping really makes it nice with the way the feel is. It is a manual control for the passenger, but guess what? I do have an 8-way adjustable seat for the driver, and we do have a standard size sunroof, which is nice. But why don't you come over to the business end? I want to show you behind this leather wrapped steering wheel in the Trax Activ. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. There's those seat controls I was telling you about. Easy to get to. Love the stitching. I'm 6 feet tall. Plenty of room now in this Trax, and it looks good. The best part is it feels good. Talk about feeling. The leather material on the steering wheel, the stitching, the blacked out bow tie, a little bit of silver accents. You do have a heated steering wheel, which is nice. And the way that they even did the black bow tie, really digging it. Now you do have a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel, and then you're gonna get that nice large 8-inch digital cluster for your speedometer, your fuel readouts, all the different information that you need or want is all controlled in that center display. And it's just so smart the way they have that organized, and it's very clear and easy to read. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the back seat and see if your passengers are gonna be happy that you went Chevrolet Trax. All right, guys, backseat time. And here's an area where they really just blow it out of the water. Lots of room, not only for your legs and your knees, your feet, your shins, your calves, your ankles, but also for your cabeza. Nice to have all that room. The backs of the seats have that soft material all the way around, that nice leather style material. You have a USB-C, a USB-A, and they give you this little area right here where probably you could put about 28 Jolly Ranchers or 4 Twinkies, depending if you have a candy sweet tooth or if you want a Twinkie to satisfy your sweet tooth. Nice large pocket, is easily going to be able to fit 2 Whammos. And if you're wondering what the heck is a Whammo, Whammo used to make Frisbees. I don't know if they still do. I need to do my research, but I would keep my 2 Whammos back there. The seats are actually pretty comfortable. The one thing that I'm missing, besides like AC vents, no center armrest. So you're gonna need a pillow pet, you're gonna need one of your sister's pound puppies, something to rest your arm on after a hard day as your parents are driving you around. So that's my recommendation, is something soft back here because there's no center armrest. But I do like the way they did the two-tone on the seats, just like up front. But let's get to that cargo area because I wanna see how much room there is truly in this Trax. All right guys, time to get into the rear cargo area. It does not have electric assist, and that's one of the things that I think should be on the active trim. So I am gonna zonk that, but the good news is, not very heavy. Which way is the tail of the Dragon? It's that way. And if you're wondering what's the tail of the Dragon, it's a road here in North Carolina, 318 turns in 11 miles. But look at the cargo space. With the Trax getting a little bit wider, a little bit longer, that means we have more space. So with that third row up, you're looking at 25.6 cubic feet of space. Fold down the third row up. When the back seat is up, the second row, not the third row, you're gonna have 25.6 cubic feet of space. Fold down the rear seat, it's gonna give you 54.1 cubic feet of space. I love the way they got a nice large nook. So when you buy a gallon of Yoo-Hoo, it's not gonna spill all over the place back here. You got your nook on the passenger side for a box of Twinkies, and they give you a spare, which is another nice touch. A lot of vehicles are getting rid of spares. But why don't we go ahead? It's about that time. If you're ready, I'm ready. All right, guys, it's been a fun-filled, sunny kind of day out here in Asheville, North Carolina. Definitely want to thank the whole Chevrolet team for getting us access to this new 2024 Chevrolet Trax Active trim. Let me know what you think. Does this have the secret sauce when it comes to price, when it comes to options, technology, and style? Let me know how you feel about it in the comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Ladies Rides family. Of course, we got to give it up to the golden child, Stephen Flood of Stephen Flood Photography. Go figure, working that camera like a champ. Show him some love in the comment section. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.